This is an open letter to the Sane Society. Bravo underwear, lingerie, panties, Bravo panties. Salute. Believe me, I tried to look for a more palatable name for this one, and underwear and panties was the cleanest shirt I could find amongst the dirty laundry. So let's go with panties. Bravo panties. I was listening to a interview on NPR. I don't know what the interview was conducted by a journalist from BBC or NPR, because NPR is basically BBC. British have not let go of the main news broadcasting entity in North America. So the British run the news broadcasting. Anyway, she was interviewing this woman about her experience in one or two, or I don't know, however many Diddy parties that this girl had when she was a girl or a young woman. I don't think she was girl for long. So because she was a ex-playboy bunny. So as a young woman, she was telling about her experience in either one Diddy party or more than one, that she was given a roofie or some kind of chemical beside alcohol that is forbidden, and she was was about to be taken advantage of, and God forbid, and she wasn't taken advantage of, so she's clean. And then she went into her a short summary of her biography, that she looked cute and she became a playboy, but she wanted to become part of the industry. There is an industry called pussy industry. I'm not sure why calling it an industry, it's like industry. You don't consider landscaping as an industry. You don't call landscaping industry. It's like industry has it's referred to certain things, but I don't think pussy should be one of those things that industry should apply. So the whole idea was that she was saying that I wanted to be in the industry, and my family also encouraged me. I wanted to be part of the modeling and industry, and sex industry. She didn't say I wanted to be part of the sex industry, but here's the clue. Apparently she missed it. See if you can catch this clue. She said that yes, as a Playboy bunny, we were told that if we have to go everywhere with our underwear. She didn't say underwear, she called it lingerie. And this was understood because you want to get into the industry. Get into the industry, so and therefore you have to show yourself and be friendly and be accommodating and be sexy. Everybody has to see how sexy you are, so you can find a position in the industry, so you can get into the industry. And I'm thinking to myself, how soft is your brain? How soft is your head? And do you also, people at BBC, do you also think we also have a soft head? Because the woman pretended like she doesn't understand, or maybe she didn't pretend, she's just educational system has failed her, in a way that she acted like she didn't understood what is expected of her when she's invited to parties in her underwear. And she claimed ignorance, that yes, I was there to just join the industry. I wasn't there to provide sexual favors. I'm sorry, what world do you live in? Are you fucking kidding me? You think those executives and those people who are in a position to make you a familiar name, you think they come to the party and see you in your sexy underwear, and then they want to go home and jerk off? You see what I'm saying? It's sort of like, no, or go home and screw their 50, 60, 70-year-old wives? Maybe not. Maybe if they want to see you in your underwear is because they want to taste the goods, they want to sample the goods. And this whole idea of, no, I see but don't touch, see but don't touch until I say so. I'm sorry, if your ass is hanging out of your, underwear, underwear is, especially women's underwear, the whole idea is just apparently to cover the crack. The cheeks are not supposed to be hidden in today's standards. And so you think these executives want to see your ass cheeks hanging out in the party, and then they want to go home and jerk off, which is probably more probably more pleasing than trying to screw their 70-year-old wife, 80-year-old wife. My point is this: they're there to see the goods, sample the goods. They're not going anywhere. And to claim ignorance by this woman in her underwear, that I showed up in this place where everybody was clothed, I was the only one walking around in my underwear with bunny ears, and trying to be pleasing to everybody, and you don't think any of these folks want to bang you? Are you fucking kidding me? Salute. And then the whole idea of medication and roofie, and they wanted to drug me to do bad things to me. I'm sorry, if you're a Playboy bunny, we are assuming that you no longer consider certain things bad. That's why you became a Playboy bunny, because apparently you think having sex with 50 different men a year is normal. So a couple of those men happen to be in a Diddy party. You're already, send out the message that you're okay. You're okay with a lot of sexual activity, and you don't consider it bad. So what is the problem here? You're volunteering for a lot of sexual environments and sexual activity as a Playboy bunny. You agree to walk around in your underwear in front of all these old men of power and money. But you're not agreeing, and you're okay with having multiple sexual partners in a week. Forget about a year, in a week. As a Playboy bunny, as a symbol of sex, as a symbol of somebody who says, I have no problem with a lot of sexual activity. I'm a Playboy bunny. That's what Playboy stands for, sex. So you agree with all of that. You just don't agree with the roofie or the chemical that they fed you to relax you and have sex with you, what you have volunteered for. Yes, no, you haven't volunteered for sex, but again, if you go there in your underwear and trying to show your wares with your ass cheeks hanging out, Well, it's sort of like hors d'oeuvre. You don't go show the hors d'oeuvre, run the hors d'oeuvre around the gathering without people having to chance to pick up some of that fucking food. You're hanging out with your ass cheeks. You're hanging around with your ass cheeks hanging out, and you don't think people believe that this is on sale, and it's just a matter of she agreeing where to do it. She is to do it, but she has to agree where she wants to do it, because apparently she's okay also with doing it with all the men in the party. So my point is this: as as a sexual freedom thing, as a symbol of sexual freedom, a Playboy bunny is basically saying, I'm okay with having sex all the time with everybody. My point, it's just a matter of price. How much are you willing to pay me for sex? That's what a sex bunny is, or that's what a prostitute is. That's what all women are. If you agree to pay me your wages for your whole life, I will become your wife. And I have to see your wages and accept your wages, how much you're getting, and based on that, I will become your wife. This is what all women do. It's just, some rent by the hour and some rent by the lifetime. It's all women are in the business of selling pussy. Whether they want to find the first and last buyer, whether they want to have one buyer that is the husband or multiple buyer like a Playboy bunny, they're selling. So the idea that this woman in her underwear walking around thinking that these people are not here to buy, these people are actually here to look and then go home and jerk off. Nobody has explained this to her, that these people have the money to buy, so they want to buy. Others who only see you on the screen, they don't have the money to buy what you have to sell. Nobody has explained this to her, and she, with all the audacity in the world, she says, yeah, the problem was the chemical that they were trying to feed me to lower my inhibitions, basically Bill Cosby. Here's the thing, folks. Alcohol is a chemical. Salute. Alcohol is a chemical that lowers inhibitions. There are other chemicals that can be used to lower your inhibition even more, including those chemicals that at these parties supposedly are given to these girls. I'm not advocating for giving chemicals to girls, but on a scale of, the idea is lowering the inhibitions so the woman would agree not to wait for a prince, and lowering the inhibition so she wouldn't be waiting for a king or a prince, then lower her inhibition even more by she would agree not to wait, keep her pussy waiting for maybe a governor, not wait for a lawyer, not wait for a very rich guy, the idea is you keep giving more chemicals to this woman until she agrees to have sex with you. That's the whole idea of drinking. Buying a drink for a woman in a bar or a restaurant. This whole idea of drinking, offering women a drink, is to lower her inhibitions so she agrees to have sex with you. Other chemicals lower her inhibitions even more. I'm not sure what are the chemicals are to blame, or the person who give those chemicals are to blame, because I'm sorry, you're in your underwear in front of a lot of men who are not in their underwear. They want to get into their underwear, but at the moment they're not in their underwear. What do you think you're selling, and what do you think you can keep away from these men, these horny men who are seeing you in your underwears are getting even more horny? Now we are trying to blame the chemicals, the whole business model. They call it an industry. pussy, not pussy, porn. I'm sorry, porn industry, not pussy industry. They give it a a very palatable name. They start calling it with a very palatable name of sex industry or adult industry. That's even better, a palatable name. It is an industry that only concerns the older people, old enough people. It's adult industry, an industry that concerns. You can call health industry and they don't even call healthcare an industry, but they call porn an industry. Okay, my point is this, that the educational system, the parents, everybody has failed this woman, that she cannot put two and two together, and or doesn't want to, or pretends that we cannot put two and two together, that maybe it's the chemical was not to blame, maybe me standing there in front of all these older men in my underwear was the issue, was the problem. She and the news organization, NPR and BBC, who put this shit out there, that the problem was not the older men who were looking for young pussy. The problem is not these women who don't understand they're there to sell the pussy. The problem was none of this. The problem was the chemical involved. I'm sorry, we already went over this. If you want the woman to sleep with a horse, you have to provide her with a lot of chemicals. And if she has to, sleep with a prince, she doesn't need that much chemicals. She's good to go without chemicals. And how many princes are there around? Princes is 1 in a million is a prince. But a rich person. 1 in a million is a rich person. So what the other million have to? Who the other million have to screw? Females who are still everyone looking for princes. So this whole idea of all your females believing that they have to find their prince, and even if finding their prince means she has to walk around in her underwear to find her prince. Somebody hasn't explained to her all her life. And the news organization who put this shit out as acceptable, you see what I'm saying, that put this shit out also agreeing with her that the involvement of inhibition lowering chemicals was the problem, and not the fact that she was walking around in her underwear with her ass cheeks hanging out and arousing all the guests, and thinking that yes, I'm going to go home virgin, even though I'm walking here with my underwear in front of all these horny men. I'm gonna go back home virgin, and none of these people want to fuck me. This is the thing. And because we are not all prince, then the idea of use of chemicals to bring the standards of these women who all think they deserve to be married or they deserve to have sex with a millionaire. This pussy is, you see all these, and the uglier the woman, the more she thinks she should be in demand. And they all think they deserve a prince, and with a lot of money, and you're thinking to yourself that and sometimes they tell them that yes, you can only find your prince with a lot of money in these parties. So she gets in her underwear and she goes to these parties looking for her prince. Are you fucking kidding me? You're raising these girls on unicorns and honey, and then when these girls, unicorn and honey, the whole idea of that, yes, my dear, this is not a whore industry. This is a adult industry. This is in this industry, you know, you can choose to consume the chemical or not. Are you fucking kidding me? And the reporter never asked her that, dear woman, you were there. You agreed to go attend somewhere in your underwear, and you are offended by some of those people trying to fuck you? She never brought it up. The reporter never brought it up. Never brought it up that you want to go become. You want to become. She never brought it up, saying that you want to become part of the adult industry, the modeling industry, the sexually, you know, sexual industry. This whole, you know, beauty, acting, modeling, sex, you know. You want to become part of that industry, and you were advertising yourself as you know, candidate to be part of that industry, but you didn't think you have to have sex with these people, all of them, if you have to. And she probably has, and she probably did. But now to come on the radio, and the radio personalities agreeing with her that yes, the chemical were to blame. The chemical were to blame. That's just to lower her inhibitions. Whatever chemical beside alcohol was involved, that was to it's just the extent of how uninhibited you want her to be. Bill Cosby, I think, you know, women who agreed to go to his flat to advance their careers, they clearly knew what being a man and a woman in a flat alone, what it means. In a house, you know, all of sexually active age. Every one of them knew what it meant. But the whole idea of blaming Bill Cosby and chemicals, blaming everything and everyone else except the woman. I thought you said women are equal and they have a fucking brain. If they're equal and they have a fucking brain and they can't put two and two together, then maybe they're not equal and they don't have a full fucking brain. I'm sorry, my dear ladies, I love you. But you can't keep blaming the men. You can't keep blaming the chemicals. Oh, it was the alcohol. Oh, it was the drugs. Oh, they tried to drug me, or they tried to rape me. What is rape? Rape is you're advertising your sexuality, but you're fishing. You're trying to get the biggest fish in the pond. And if those smaller fish want to fuck you, you're not okay with that. Sort of like, no, this advertising that I'm doing, this bait, when you drop a bait in the ocean, you can't choose what kind of fucking fish you get. You put a bait, women's and their sexuality. Women walking around in their underwear. Women who agree to walk around in their underwear. It's like a bait on a hook thrown in the ocean. If you do that, you cannot choose who you can have sex with. If I want to have sex with, I put myself out in my underwear in a party as a bait. But I wasn't okay with everybody having a go, or I wasn't okay with that guy having a go. I'm okay with this guy having a go because he's got more money than that guy. You really can't do that. This is what women have, been accustomed to believing. That no, it's rape, but I don't want it. That's the whole idea when the chemicals have to enter, because if you're offering sex but you're trying to be picky, then they have to give you chemicals, alcohol. Others with lower morality, they may give you other, or if they're uglier. I mean, if you're a really ugly guy, you really have to try your best to push her inhibitions away. And probably that means using stronger chemicals than alcohol so she can bear being with you, because she believes she deserves a princess. Or she is a princess, and she believes she is a princess, and she believes she deserves a prince. So in order to be with you, if you're a really ugly, unpalatable, poor, cheap guy, you really have to do your best to bring down her inhibitions. So my point is this, that the problem is not the chemical, the problem is not the guy. The problem is if you make yourself like a big bait in the ocean, trying to attract as many males as possible. You're a female with a lot of your sexuality hanging out everywhere, trying to attract apparently as many males as possible. Well, other less desirable males also want to have a nibble. And if they have to use chemicals to get their nibble, you can't really blame them. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like throwing a bait in the ocean and expecting only, a specific, looking to catch a specific fish, not being happy with any fish. I'm sorry, but that's just salute. It's just asking for the impossible. It's asking for trouble. I mean, you don't show up in your underwear in a male dominated party as a woman. You don't show up in their underwear and not to expect hand out samples of your sex, your sexuality. It's just, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? And these reporters, the reporter was also a woman. She never brought it up, that maybe it's not the chemical, maybe it's not those men, maybe it's you. Maybe you're a whore and you don't know it. Nobody explained to you that you're a whore. Or you're behaving like a whore by walking around in your underwear in somebody else's home. And thinking sex is not on the menu. I'm walking around here in my underwear, but sex is not on the menu. Then why the fuck you're walking around in your underwear? I'm sorry, I just find some of these news programs and these reporters who really who hold back. The whole idea is hold back and go with the specific narratives. Never dig, never offend, never try not to offend the guy who's you're interviewing. It's like, I'm sorry, if I state a common sense matter, and if my guest is offended by common sense, then the problem is with my guest who doesn't have apparently common sense. In the case of this girl, she didn't have common sense, apparently, or she claimed ignorance of common sense. And the reporters don't hold their feet to fire. It may sound a little heartless, but imagine another 12-year-old girl listening to this program on NPR. Imagine that she hearing that the problem was the chemical. Do you understand that you are miseducating this younger 12-year-old girl hearing this on the radio, that the men were at fault, the chemical was at fault, everything was at fault, except this woman with her ass cheeks hanging out in front of other people, strange people who she's never met. Imagine how brainwashed these women are. Imagine going in front of, as a Playboy bunny, going in front of men who you have never met in your underwear. I mean, doesn't this say that I don't have any inhibitions? If as a woman you're okay with walking in front of very older men, much older men, in your underwear and offering hors d'oeuvres to them, you don't think that's the message that this is sending? Is I have zero inhibitions. I mean, these women who are walk around in these what they call sexy outfits, basically all their sexual assets hanging out and being advertised, you don't think that sends a message that says I have no inhibitions, please approach me, I like to have sex right now, that's why my business is out, that's why my ass and my tits are hanging out, because I want to have sex right now, so please approach me if you're of opposite sex. This is what it means. If she can't understand this, and the BBC reporter doesn't bring it up and doesn't make it clear on the radio in front of these 12-year-old girls who are listening, if it doesn't, it's not stated that the problem is that you were saying you don't have any inhibitions by being present in that party in your underwear. This is not a problem with the chemical. You're obviously okay with the chemicals because you are already uninhibited, and the chemical is just an extra to knock you out and make use of your uninhibited body. This is the explanation. The problem is not the chemical, the problem is your presence there. The problem is not the man, the problem is your presence there, in your underwear. Not playing hard to get at all. Playing easy to get. What part of this is difficult to understand? The problem is, I believe the word is acclimating. I might be wrong. But the problem is acclimating or making it look like normal to these girls of the common class that walking around in your underwear everywhere is okay, is sexy. And telling these girls of the common class that yes, you want to be as sexy as possible all the time, but men should not try to fuck you. You should be the one choosing the men who fuck you. And then why you ask why the alcohol consumption is so high? Something needs to. She's already uninhibited and everything is out for sale. All you have to do is try to lower her price, and therefore alcohol consumption is high and other drug consumption is high because everybody's trying to lower the women's price so they can have sex with her. Just lower the price with chemicals. Lower her inhibition, lower her price, lower her expectations, And that's why, I mean, that's all the marriages that end up in divorce that go wrong, because it's usually the woman. It's usually the fact that women, men are okay staying married. They may have want to have sex here and there with other women because their own wife is not stimulating enough, or they're not available enough. But men like to stay in marriages, and try to stay in the marriages. It's the women who decide that they want to divorce, and it all goes back to expectations. She got married when she was, high and uninhibited and drunk. She, you know, she got, she said yes to the proposal when she was uninhibited and drunk, and she got married when she was even more drunk. So after that, when she's not drunk, suddenly, she becomes more inhibited because she remembers of her high expectations, and whoever the fuck is sleeping next to me does not meet those high expectations, especially because I'm not uninhibited right now, I'm not drunk right now, and I see this guy sleeping next to me doesn't meet my high expectations, and she wants to leave. She wants to go and find her prince. This guy is not her prince. Now she wants a second chance of finding her prince. I'm sorry. You have taught your women and girls wrong. And I'm talking as a brother of a woman who, she was a whore. My sister was more or less a whore. I mean, especially after 18, she would only come back home after 11 o'clock or after 12 o'clock. And, come home and go straight to shower. It's like, wash all the nasty stuff off her. But the point is this was, this is not, I'm not denigrating other women. No, my own sister was a stupid cunt. So that's just, it is what it is. If you don't educate your women, if you don't teach them common sense, and just try to blame chemicals. Oh, the use of the chemicals was the problematic part. Well, was alcohol involved? Yes, alcohol is normal. Well, alcohol is the first chemical men try to use to lower inhibitions. In case of Bill Cosby, it's sort of like, so the woman going to his flat was not a problem, knowing that he's going to be alone there, going there in probably sexy clothing in order to try to impress Mr. Bill Cosby. That wasn't a problem. Having a few drinks with Bill Cosby, that wasn't a problem. The problem was a chemical or two extra that Bill Cosby used to knock these women out and have sex with them. I'm sorry, the objective was always the same. It's just Bill Cosby was he was a busy man. He was trying to cut down on the courtship. No, I don't want to date you for a week before I can take you to bed. No, you just came here. Let's cut through the bullshit. Have this drink. Let's go to bed. That's Bill Cosby. I think he was using. I don't want to be an advocate of so-called rape. I don't want to be an advocate of rape. I don't want to seem to be an advocate of rape, or as an apologist for rape. But back to what is rape? What is the rape is when a woman says that no, I'm looking for a prince and you're not a prince, so you cannot have sex with me. And if alcohol is available, it will become consensual sex. If alcohol is not available, it will be considered as rape. That's basically, you know, splitting splitting atoms. That's just, you know, almost no rape would end up in rape if enough alcohol and chemical is involved. It becomes consensual. When when you don't remember, you don't remember. So it's consensual, I guess. But that's exactly my point. That Bill Cosby was trying to he was a busy man, cut back on his, you know, the time that he has to spend wooing the woman. Sort of like, bitch, I don't have that much time to spend. I'm here for one night, two night, performing a show to make my money, and I don't have to date. I don't have time to date you for a week before I can take you to bed. You come here, you're here, I'm here. Here's some alcohol. Here's some additional chemicals to get the result that I'm going to get in a week. I would get this result in a night. If these women really didn't want anything to happen, they wouldn't agree to meet a man alone in his flat at night after his show, when he's all, you know, high and mighty and he's very happy with himself. He made money and he's in his room and he's trying to celebrate, and you agree to meet him in his room in your sexy outfit, and you blame him for using enough chemicals to lower your inhibitions on night one, instead of trying to lower your inhibitions for a week before he takes you to bed. I think he was trying to just be efficient, and I think women are to blame for all these cases. Women are to blame. You should not be there. You should not think that modeling is an industry that is anything beside anything besides sex. Modeling, acting, adult industry, Playboy. It's all about. It's mostly about sex. It's all about sex. It's all about selling sex. It's all about participating in sex. You know, modeling, when you say this woman is sexy, what do you mean? You mean I want to, you know, take her to bed if I had the chance to. So these women who are, for example, even in modeling, do they, what, you know, they get these sexual proposals left and right, probably. Why? Do they think that this is inappropriate? You're hanging your sex out, then you're wondering why men are attracted, and then you think you have the right to choose what fish has the right to bite while you're a bait hanging out in the ocean. You ask for much. You ask for much. I think that's just stupidity. To think that, you know, women can choose, should be able to choose. And then if some man trying to use a stronger chemical than alcohol, so women would choose them, lower their women's inhibition and choose them in a short period of time, this efficiency is wrong. No, I don't think anything efficient is wrong. if women is asking for it and she's okay with having her inhibitions lowered to get to sex, but she's not okay with her inhibitions being lowered that much in one night, but she's okay with her inhibition being lowered in a week of wooing, I think that's just common sense that the more efficient way is a better way. Hey, you wanna have sex with me as a rich, successful man, but you want me to woo you for a week or a month or a year or a lifetime. I think that's bullshit. It's like, no, I'm an efficient guy. I need to woo you. I don't have time to woo you for a week. Here's some chemicals. Since you agreed to meet me alone in my flat, here's some chemicals to get this thing over with. That's the whole idea of that joke. This is a very well known joke. Salute. It all comes down to that very well known joke of the guy saying to a pretty woman, "Here is $1 million. If I give you $1 million, would you spend the night with me?" Or the subject of the very well known movie. And the woman says, "Okay." And the guy says, "Here is $20. Let's go to that corner over there." And the woman says, "What do you think I am? Who do you think I am?" And the guy says, we already decided on who you are. You're a prostitute. You're willing to do it for $1 million. I just need 15 minutes of your time instead of the whole night. So I guess, $20 for 10 minutes, 15 minutes would suffice. So basically, we already decided what you are. We are just haggling over the money. This is the case with these, case against Bill Cosby, case against Diddy, case against these girls who want to get into an industry that is all about sex. That's modeling, acting, and even acting too. I mean, again, a sexy actress gets a lot of work. Why? Because a lot of rich old guys like to have sex with her, and once they do, they hire her, as a payback for the good time that they have had with her. It is connected. And please don't tell me that these Hollywood actresses are all, Virgin Marys. I think you're miseducating your women and girls, apparently intentionally, by not talking about the real issue, by not talking about common sense ideas, and just keep blaming the chemicals. Yes, the chemicals were at fault, and the men were at fault, not the women walking around in their underwear, not the women agreeing to walk around in their underwear in front of strange men. That part is A-okay. It's just nonsense. It's wag the tail kind of situation. Salute. Brushing aside the real cause, the real problems.
Tired of hearing the ads? Sign up
And
for
going with going with what is palatable. Let's make this story more palatable, and let's blame the chemicals involved, and let's blame the men, and none of the women if used common sense would have been not even been anywhere near that area that the sexual activities had taken place. Oh, the problem was not the woman, the problem was a chemical. Sure, why not?